Bow Hunt or Die is being brought to you by Matthews, Lost Camo, New Archery Products, Tinks, Lone Wolf Portable Tree Stands, Stealth Cam, Carbon Express, Hunter Safety System, Heartland Wildlife Institute, Moose Utility Division, Pine Ridge Archery, and the Can Cooker.
Welcome to another exciting episode of BowHunt or Die. I'm Todd Graff. Along with me is Justin Czar, and we've got another jam-packed episode for you. Justin, what do we got this week?
Well, last week we kind of talked a little bit about how we had a full moon.
Yep.
We weren't really sure how the hunting was going to go, but we had a front move through, and sure enough, the bucks were definitely up on their feet. We had actually 3 or 4 different team members who put down good bucks on film last week.
Right, and what that means for you is you're going to be able to see some great action in the weeks ahead. I mean, I know for a fact the deer were moving. Unfortunately, I wasn't successful this week, but definitely the team members put some good ones down. Speaking of team members, we've got one killer buck to show you, 199 inches. This is a special deer.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is one of our new pro staff members, Brady Scheffler. You guys may have seen him earlier this year, kind of peek his head in a few episodes. He did some filming with Todd, earlier this year. If you go all the way back into season 1, Brady actually shot a deer on film during season 1 of Bow Hunt or Die. And I remember watching it at that time and just being like, this kid's reaction was just absolutely priceless after he shot this deer. Just the excitement and enthusiasm, you can't reproduce that. And, that was like a 145-inch deer I think he killed. He kills a 199-inch deer here, and you can only imagine what his reaction is like after he shoots this buck.
Yeah, and with, 199-inch deer, that deer could be the Illinois state record this year, Justin. It's a monster, typical whitetail. I personally held the rack and saw the deer. Enough of this jibber-jabber. Let's go ahead and take a look at the footage. The footage is not spectacular. No. Honestly, if it wasn't as big of a buck, we probably wouldn't even use it because we do pretty much hold all of our team members to a pretty strict regimen of what we expect. But 199-inch whitetail, we got to show you what we have. Take a look.
And he's down right there, 25 yards in front of me. And as soon as I shot him and saw him go down, I started puking. Straight up dry heaving, throwing up. No clue what that means. But that means there's some nerves running through my veins, that's all I gotta say. That's all edited out of Bow Hunt or Die, that's for sure, but wow. I honestly still feel like I'm sleeping, dreaming that I just shot the biggest buck of my life. No, it doesn't even feel real right now. If you've ever had that moment where everything just feels so surreal, it's almost not even real life. That's what I feel like right now. All the hard work, preparation you do in the off season to get to that point right there. And I'm just glad I held it all together and made a good shot on him, and he only went 20 yards, but that's exactly why I do it. All the hard work pays off in the end. You gotta believe that. Bow Hunt or Die, baby. What better feeling in the world than this right now? Are you kidding me? Biggest buck I've ever shot in my life lays dead, 5 yards in front of me.
Well, here he is, an absolute brute. Bigger than I even thought he was before I actually laid my hands on him. Came in at first light this morning, probably about 25 yards, and I tried to keep it all together and the best I could for a good shot, and luckily I did. The Matthews Heistand did the trick. It's my first time shooting that bow this year. I was shooting right-handed last year, had to switch to left-handed this year, and it was a good transition. I think it helped me out a lot. It's a little more accurate of a bow, and here he is right here, down 25 yards from the stand, an absolute giant. I owe it all to this guy right here, Joel Brantner, for letting me hunt. A longtime friend, and we've been chasing these bucks for a while now, and haven't had one come close until today, and I couldn't be more happy. Easily the biggest buck I've ever killed.
Finally got one down, bud.
Heck yeah. So it's all about bow hunt or die, baby. Hellraiser did the trick.
Well, guys, when it comes to self-filming your own hunts, you know, I'm not one to talk, but let's face it, Brady did the best job that he possibly could do. He had a 199-inch buck within bow range, and I'm not sure many of us would have done a lot better. Except, of course, for Todd Graff, who seems to be the king at self-filming hunts.
Hey, there's no question about it. A 199-inch whitetail is a monster. I only hope one day to see a deer like that on hoof. Now, with that being said, it never fails when you shoot a big buck like that. That's when all of a sudden people come out of the woodwork and say, geez, I saw that buck, or I've got some trail cameras of that deer. In this case, Brady found out that some other people in the area was also chasing that deer and has some great trail camera shots of it from last year. Take a look at those. Now let's hook up with some new members of ours, Troy and Tim, as they shoot a couple of does and do some quality deer management here in Northern Illinois.
Southwest wind here. It's kind of blowing back in this corner of the fruit plot. But in an area we call Apple Grove. We got some apple trees out here to our east. And a nice clover plot that we planted this year. The does have been hitting it pretty hard, and we actually have a couple mature, nice 4.5-year-old bucks that have been spending some time out here. So we still got plenty of time. It's only about 3:30. We're going to stay here until sunset and just see how things go. Talk to you later. Big doe down, fill up the freezer, and go after that buck. Okay, so here she is. Didn't go far at all. Shot a little forward, but that nap razor went right through that shoulder blade. I think I hit probably a little forward on her lungs and definitely hit her neck. So she kind of dropped right there, took a second shot, and that was it for her. So quick expiration. She went out quick. Happy with my nap razors for sure. And just excited for lots of meat in the freezer here. This is a good looking doe, so. All right, bow hunt or die, baby.
Small buck. Quite a few does out in the poop plot. We scared some coming in. We've had them moving around. I mean, there's just deer everywhere up here. But we're open. We're looking for a buck. I'm pretty excited. We might even take a turkey. And we hear them going off this morning too. Beautiful morning. We love this place. So hopefully it'll yield us a buck today. So stay with us. Or not.
I hear they taste pretty good. That wasn't my sighting right there. That was on the cameraman. Big body deer. Big body. I think he's gonna go about 600 after field dressed.
right about where I shot her. It's good blood. Kill zone did its job. We've got blood all the way along it. There she is. Quite a devastating blood trail. Shot her about 30 minutes ago. Later in the day, it was about 8:30 when she came by at about 37 yards and made a perfect shot. I sent that kill zone double lung, and let me tell you what, it was an incredible blood trail, and the entrance and exit, it blew right through at 37. The entrance and exit wounds are just massive, and so I can't tell you how happy I am with these broadheads. We got a doe down, bow hunter die, baby.
You know, for their first time submitting footage for Bow Hunter Die, Tim and Troy did a great job. You know, those guys are hunting not too far away from where Todd and I are at in northwestern Illinois, and we know that there's some great bucks in that area, so hopefully they can catch up with one of them before the season ends.
Next up, we're going to join Dean Krueger on a great Wisconsin hunt.
All right, it is the morning of October 20th. The plan is to shoot a big doe today. I'm sitting on a fence line that's by a picked cornfield. I've got a northwest wind right in my face here. The farmers picked the cornfield about half mile from here the last couple days, so that's where most of the deer are feeding, so they're traveling that far. They're going to bed back here behind me. So the plan is to get a big doe down, and if they read the script, we're going to do exactly that. I'm looking out across the field and there's some deer coming right now, so stick with me, maybe we can put one down. All right, that worked pretty good this morning. Nice sized doe on the ground. She ran about 50 yards and she's laying right out here in the middle of the field. All right, it's a little later in the morning. The wind's picking up here now, and great morning. You know, mission accomplished, doe on the ground. The best part of my morning is yet to come yet. One of the goals I had this year was to take my two kids on a track job after a deer that I've shot. So no big surprises because she's laying right in the field, but we're gonna have a little fun with it, and it'll be their first time. So, all right, we're back out in the field. I got my little helpers here this morning, so we're gonna get on the tracks here and follow the blood trail and see what's at the end of the trail. Okay.
Whoa, there's blood.
Where's there? You got blood? Okay.
You were standing on a bunch of blood.
Was I?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, here we are. Here's the big doe I shot this morning. Had my little helpers come help. It's their first track job they ever did. She didn't go that far, so it wasn't too tough, but again, it was a first for them, and we had a lot of fun. So we got some meat in the freezer, and hopefully we can get a big buck on the ground yet this year. Bow hunt or die.
You know, Dean always produces. He's been with us for several years now, and I'll tell you what, the guy knows how to hunt and he knows how to pick his stand choices. What I also love about Dean is the fact that he takes the time to get his kids out there. You know what? He could have just took that doe, threw it in the pickup truck, went home and butchered it, but no, he goes home, he brings his kids out, and he does what's important. He introduces the kids to our favorite sport, bow hunting.
Next up, we're going to check in with Lindsey Heistand as she finally hits the woods and has some great whitetail encounters.
October 27th, and we set out this morning, then decided to actually put up new stands for this afternoon's hunt. Their stands really good for the morning. We saw over 20 deer, a bunch of bucks, but none shooters. So we decided to put up an evening stand here. Seems like it'll be a really good spot. We'll see what happens. It's very sunny right now, so hopefully that just gets down behind the trees real quick here. We can see. That wraps up our weekend hunt for this weekend. Had to switch stands to see how that worked out. We still saw some deer, still saw some small bucks, but not a ton of action. We had a shooter buck come in, but he spooked really soon, so I don't really know what happened, but he took off. So got 4 more days left to hunt this week before Alex leaves for Ohio, so I'm really hoping to get one on the ground this week, and hopefully that will happen.
Once again, we want to take a couple minutes to thank the people who sent in their trophy photos for this week's show. Eric Hoyt, Dieter Herbert, Jeremy Hoff, Mitchell Payment, Pep Moretti, and Ron Davies. Hey, congratulations everybody, those are some great trophies. Remember, if you want to see yourself right here in an episode of Bow Hunt or Die, all you've got to do is click on the Submit Your Trophy button in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. Submit your photo today. Well, guys, that's all the hunting action we have for this week's episode of Bow Hunt or Die. Now, Todd, as we mentioned earlier in the intro, we did have a couple team members, besides Brady, who put down good bucks on film that we're going to be showing you in the next couple of weeks. We had Clinton and Frank down in central Illinois. They killed a 170-inch absolute giant buck. We had Dean Krueger up in Minnesota, put down a beautiful 10-pointer. And then Tom Alford, actually right here in Illinois, not too far from our office, put down a beautiful 8-pointer on film. So you guys are definitely going to want to check back. The next couple of weeks, we're going to have a lot of really exciting, good buck hunts to show you.
Yeah, there's no question about it, guys. This is the best time of the year. This is what we live for. The bucks are up on their feet. Although not all of our team members have shot bucks, they're definitely starting to capture them on film, and this is the part of the year that we wait for all the time.
Yeah, November is finally here, guys. I mean, we've been talking about it for the last, 10 months, waiting for November to get here. The rut is definitely on. The bucks are on their feet. They're moving during the daylight. Now's the time to get out in the woods and shoot one, so you just got to check back next week right here in Bow Hunt or Die and see how we do.
In the meantime, don't forget to check out facebook.com/bowhunting for daily updates, news, photos, and other exciting information. We want to hear your opinions and your stories, so join us now and like us on Facebook.
Well, next up, we're going to check in with Lindsey Heistand as she finally gets some, it's just weird to say, Lindsey Heistand, time in the tree stand, Heistand tree stand. Waka, waka, waka.
And as soon as I shot him and saw him go down, I started puking. Straight up dry heaving, throwing up. No clue what that means, but that means there's some